got big dreams. You want to be successful. You want to live the life you've always imagined. But there's a problem. You're feeling lazy. You know exactly what you should be doing, but you're just not doing it. This makes you feel guilty because deep down, you know you're capable of so much more. Day by day, this guilt builds up. Week by week, it gets stronger. Soon, it becomes something you accept. And then another year starts. And guess what? You have the same goals from last year. At first, you're full of excitement and motivation. You think, this year is going to be different. But before you know it, procrastination sneaks in. It's like that one relative who shows up at your door uninvited, and now you can't get rid of them. Day by day, the procrastination grows, and the next thing you know, you're stuck in a cycle of laziness. You even start calling yourself a lazy person. But here's the big question. How do we break free from this cycle? There are a lot of videos and tips out there that talk about stopping procrastination. But most of them only talk about little things like deleting social media or removing distractions. While those things can help a little, they don't get to the root of the problem. They don't help you understand why you procrastinate in the first place. And the real reason is inertia. Now, this might sound like a science term, but it's actually very easy to understand. In physics, inertia is the idea that things like to stay the way they are. If an object is still, it stays still. If it's moving, it keeps moving. This is called Newton's first law of motion. In your life, this law works the same way. When you're not doing anything, it feels like the hardest thing in the world to start. But once you get moving, it gets easier and easier to keep going. You've probably felt this before. It's like when you have to start a big task, but you just don't want to. The thought of doing it feels too big and overwhelming, so you put it off. And before you know it, you've wasted hours or even days avoiding it. But here's the good news, you don't have to stay stuck in that cycle. We can use inertia to our advantage. The hardest part of any task is getting started. So, the trick is to make it easy to begin. The secret is to take the smallest step possible and make it so easy that you can't say no to it. Let me give you an example. Imagine you need to write a 5,000-word essay. If you think about it, it feels huge, right? You might feel like you can't do it, and that's when procrastination sets in. But what if you told yourself, I'll write just 50 words? Suddenly, it doesn't seem so bad. It's a small step, and it feels much easier to get started. You don't need to rely on a lot of willpower or motivation. Another simple trick is called the 2-minute rule. If you don't feel like doing something, tell yourself, I'll work on it for just 2 minutes. It sounds tiny, but it works. For example, if you don't feel like cleaning your room, you could put on a song and tell yourself you'll stop when the song ends. You'll probably end up cleaning for longer than just 2 minutes. Why? Because once you start, you build momentum. You get into a rhythm, and it becomes easier to keep going. Here's the science behind it. Objects in motion stay in motion. Once you get started on something, you build momentum. Just like a ball that starts rolling, it's harder to stop once it's moving. At first, it's tough, like pushing a ball uphill. But after a while, once you get past that hard part, it's downhill from there. The momentum carries you forward. That's why it's so important to start small. When the task feels small and easy, you can break free from inertia and make progress. All you need is a little push to get started, and soon you'll be on a roll. You can use these two methods, taking small steps and using the 2-minute rule, no matter what you're working on. Whether you're trying to go to the gym, work on a project, or just do something you've been putting off, these tricks will help you get started and build momentum. Let's say you want to start exercising but can't seem to find the energy. Instead of thinking, I need to work out for an hour, just start with 2 minutes of stretching or walking. Chances are, after 2 minutes, you'll feel like doing more. You've broken the inertia, and now you're in motion. Remember what Martin Luther King Jr. once said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Starting small is powerful. The key is to stop thinking about everything at once and just focus on that first little step. Once you take it, you'll be surprised how quickly you'll start moving forward. Keep taking those small steps, and before you know it, you'll be much further along than you ever thought possible. So, take that first step today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The moment is now. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, so you never miss out on more tips and inspiration to help you level up your life. Let's get started.